Something that I never thought that I would say was that people literally tried to cancel me at one point this year. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Zhariya Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. Hi, today's candle is boba tea. You also might be wondering why Hisoka is down here and not with everyone else, and that's because he just falls over. Like, he doesn't know how to stand by himself. So, I guess let's get into the video. So basically in May of 2020, I made a video about cancel culture and why I thought cancel culture was toxic and horrible back when I was fiery and had the wrong opinions, to be honest. And I know everyone changes and everyone grows, but either way, I made this video and I talked about why I thought cancel culture was toxic. And I talked about people like Joe G, aka Filthy Frank. I talked about Shane Dawson. I talked about Jeffree Star, so on and so forth. And my general conclusion of that video was that I felt like that essentially we should hold people accountable for their past, but we should allow them to be able to grow. Though I said that in a very weird and twisted way. So I will be taking this video off of my channel after this one goes live because I no longer stand by a lot of the things that I said in that video. In that video, I was a fan of Jeffree Star. I was still on the fence about Shane Dawson. I had no understanding of what systematic racism was. I had no idea about the historical implications of a lot of things that influencers were doing at this time. I was still a fan of Tana Mojo at this time. Like, I truly was very much skewed by the white influencers that I was watching. And since then, I have found that I have grown to love many POC creators on this platform. And now I know that I don't have to suffer and sit and watch Racist McGee do makeup tutorials, and I can just watch someone else do it. Who would have thought? But either way, I don't have a lot of notes for this. I just kind of have talking points because that's what I kind of prefer to do these days. But I do have one definition that I have, copied and pasted. And it's actually from Urban Dictionary, which is really funny. We love Urban Dictionary on this channel. And the definition says, cancel culture is a modern internet phenomenon where a person is ejected from influence or fame by questionable actions. It's caused by a critical mass of people who are quick to judge and slow to question. It is commonly caused by an accusation, whether the accusation has merit or not. It is a direct result of ignorance of people caused communication technologies, outpacing the growth in available knowledge of a person. Now, my personal thoughts and opinions on cancel culture are that cancel culture in theory was put in place, I would believe, around 2016. I always thought like a person gets canceled and then they lose their whole platform and they can never succeed again. They lose everything. They have to go back to working at PacSun or working at McDonald's. Though I will say you should respect your service workers, literally. They are fighting for their lives right now. But all of that aside to say that cancel culture really was just trying to kind of pinpoint and point out people who are having problematic behavior and making them, be held accountable for it. Though it wasn't a very aggressive and KYS nature. And for me, cancel culture was something where I was like, oh, a person has to do something that's so minute. But when I made that video, my definition of a minute offense was blackface. Can you believe it? All that aside, cancel culture in general, in theory, was supposed to be the savior. It's supposed to be the ex machina of, issues on the internet, because all it takes is, people banding together and deciding that, hey, we need to call out this person. And then how this person responds really dictates how their career goes forth, And this actually leads me to the next topic I want to get into, which is, does cancel culture exist? Like, really, does it really exist? Because as a person who's been on the internet I started a Twitter in 2012. Like, I've been on YouTube since I was like 9, not making videos, but like watching videos. I've been on the internet. I played on my mom's MySpace page. Like, I've been on the internet for so long, and the internet has been a huge, chunk of my life. And I think we really should evaluate, like, does cancel culture actually exist? Because I think that if a creator is big enough, like, for instance, Shane Dawson. Like literally Shane Dawson had one of the biggest downfalls I've ever seen. Like Shane Dawson was like praised. People took Shane Dawson's word for everything that it possibly was. Like people really thought Shane Dawson was the father of YouTube, could do no wrong, XYZ. And then had this gigantic fall from grace that honestly really shook me, and it took me a while for me to even process like what racism was and what he was doing was wrong. But I guess that's the thing with like age, I was 18 in that video and I'm 20 now, so I think cancel culture doesn't actually exist. That's basically what I'm answering the question. Like you can comment down below and let me know your opinions, but I genuinely think cancel culture does not exist anymore. I think that, for instance, you have a creator like Gabby Hanna. Gabby Hanna is probably one of the worst creators on this platform actively. Or I guess she's not on YouTube as much anymore, but in general, like on social media, horrible. And it's her action. It's not even like like she's a great person. Like it's like the person she puts on the internet, and that person is not a role model. And Gabby Hanna still has loyal fans. Gabby Hanna still has her little fan group chats, her Patreon, her OnlyFans, all of this stuff, and has a very toxic parasocial relationship with her fans and with the internet in general. But is Gabby Hanna canceled? No. Gabby Hanna still has millions of subscribers, still gets hundreds of thousands of views, which I could dream of getting that many views, still gets put on the trending page, still has millions of followers on Twitter and Instagram, and still like has a music career. There are so many things that Gabby Hanna has, and how is that being canceled? Recently, Tana Mojo actually made a podcast called Canceled. And I watched the first episode, and I kind of watched the Trisha Paytas episode too, because I was kind of curious, and it really got me thinking. Like they would make these statements like, oh well, we're so canceled, and Trisha said the podcast is taken down now, but Trisha was like, oh well, I'm the most canceled person, and Tana's the only person that would accept my canceled self or whatever. And it's like Tana Mojo also is a repeat offender of quote unquote cancel culture. But if cancel culture really existed, Tana Mojo would not have a career right now. Tana Mojo would be either, I don't know, dating a random rapper and just getting money from him, or she would be, working a normal job, going back to school, getting her driver's license. Like she wouldn't have everything that she has right now, even Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas has like a $4 million mansion in Hollywood or West Hollywood or whatever. I don't know anything about California, but she has like a multi-million-dollar mansion. Like is getting married, though questionable man to get married to. That's a whole other thing. Had a successful podcast, though it kind of went off the rails. And Trisha still gets so much money from her OnlyFans and from what's it called, Only Trish, and she has like a whole website. It's like a whole thing. She still has a humongous fan base that will fight for her and will support her no matter what. And that fan base happens to be big enough that Trisha Paytas wouldn't have to upload a YouTube video ever again. She wouldn't have to make her 20 TikTok sprees. She wouldn't have to do anything because she would just get enough money and enough resources from her few loyal fan base, because that is how dedicated they are, And I used to think that cancel culture was so toxic and cancel culture was ruining people's lives, but it's not. The only person that I can think of off the top of my head that truly got like canceled would be Shane Dawson, though literally if you go to his fiance's podcast right now, the most recent one with him on it, and scroll through the comments, you'll see people want Shane to be posting on YouTube again. You can go and look at Ryland's vlogs. People want Shane to post on YouTube again. Jeffree Star has a huge fan base and just released a palette that is really cute, but it sucks because he's racist. There's just so many factors, and I just think that cancel culture, the definition of cancel culture, which is canceling someone for doing something horrible on social media against humanity and whatnot, does not exist, Next, I want to open a discussion. Can toxic and problematic creators or celebrities change? And I think there's a big difference between like a person who makes the repeated constant issues. Like Nikita Dragon is not going to change. Nikita Dragon is going to do what Nikita Dragon does. Like, what was it the other day? She released a fake song and called herself the first trans pop star, which is literally a lie. Nikita makes commotion, gets her bag, and then dips. It happens like clockwork. People still fall for it. Tana Mongeau, repeat offender, is doing something every 3 months, it feels like. You know, Jeffree Star used to be like that. And when you think about creators like Laura Lee got canceled really, I wouldn't even say like as bad compared to like other people, but I think that her first reaction, we all know the video of her crying about her racist tweets. I think that Laura Lee, after that experience, instead of, you know, being very defensive and being like, you know, I didn't do anything wrong, or pulling a Tana Mongeau and not responding for, what was it, like 5 months to something happening, I think that the cancel culture can, or getting like publicly held accountable, can help you transform and can help you change. So I think that cancel culture isn't toxic in the sense that, you know, I think that people do take it too far, but I think that addressing a problem and holding people accountable is very important. And I think that basically holds accountability for other creators and make sure that people know who they're supporting, you know. And even like, what was it, literally the other day, like R. Kelly got finally after all of this time got convicted. I saw people on the internet just being so like upset for R. Kelly getting convicted for committing countless crimes, 2 documentaries. People still are like, oh well, R. Kelly didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, some people can't change. Some people are still going to do the same thing and and not even hope for different results. They just do the same thing and like don't care about the response. It's like Tana Mongeau. Tana Mongeau is always going to do some sort of clothing scam every 3 months or 4 months, really. Like, you have repeat offenders, and I think they are not going to change, you know. But I do think that people, genuine creators who do make actual mistakes and care about, you know, fixing those mistakes and care about, you know, educating themselves, those creators and celebrities can change. You know, I just think that it really depends on the person. And like me, like that video, guys, is embarrassing. Like, I will say, like, I truly don't even know who that person is. And I know that, you know, creators and apologies will be like, I don't know who that person is. But it's like 18-year-old me who did not understand what racism was. I don't understand systematic racism. This is like right, I posted that like right around the time that George Floyd tragically passed away. And my brain couldn't even comprehend like all the racism that we have in the US. And I think that cancel culture has been really good with kind of bringing that racism to light. And I can say I literally changed. I was very opinionated. Like, I was very like, I don't care. Like, this is my opinion. And I like Jeffree Star. Like, I said that. Like, that's embarrassing, you know? But lastly, I just want to close this out by saying, like, what does this mean for the future? And I think that in general for the future, people are obviously still going to be doing debaucheries. They're still going to be doing foolery. They're still going to be doing everything they can to get attention. But I think that cancel culture and accountability culture and whatever you else you want to call it, I do think that people are trying to be more conscious of what they say. Like, I've always said, like, if I ever say anything that offends you and it's not, you know, stupid. I'm pretty sure what I was saying before my phone cut off was that I'm always a person that wants to be held accountable. If I ever do anything that is perceived as being, you know, hateful towards a group of people that don't deserve it, let me know. Honestly, I'm very much one for accountability. I always want to take accountability. That's why I've been going back and deleting my old videos or updating the comment section and pinning a comment about why this video is wrong and etc. I think it's important to show growth, and I think it's important to grow, but I think that for the future of cancel culture, it's either going to go that people are just going to delete everything and just never talk about it. Like, I know that there are literal people who have careers that go back and delete everything offensive you've ever said. It's a literal position. You know, get your bag however you want to get it, but I do think that we should hold people accountable, but definitely not to the degree of people that will unalive themselves, which is unfortunate. And yeah, either way, that's my video, I suppose. I've been talking for like 40 minutes, so, you know, let's wrap it up. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it helps channels like mine. You can also subscribe to me down below because that'd be really appreciated. Leave a comment down below on your opinion on cancel culture. If you watched my old video, why don't you hate me? But like, let me know your opinions on like that situation. And yeah, make sure to stay happy and stay healthy. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.